Also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I'm Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, the National Economic Dialogue has come to an end with proposals and interventions to enable Ghana revive and revitalize the economy. We have highlights from the dialogue and we have a conversation about an issue that came up at the dialogue earlier today. The governor of the central bank has been raising some concerns. Stay with us on Ghana Tonight. We'll get into it. Also, anti-corruption crusaders hopeful that the arrival of embattled former Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Authority, Gifty Oware-Mensah, into the country will see the speedy progression of the National Service Authority ghost names scandal. But how will the National Intelligence Bureau deal with this matter? We'll find out tonight. Own up or we fish you out. Speaker of Parliament to the Member of Parliament as a House initiates a probe to identify that MP who used the unsavory comments against his colleague MP and daughter of former President Jerry John Rawlings, the late. How should this matter be dealt with? Well, stay with us. We have some persons joining us, and matter of fact, a number of you have indicated that whoever this MP is, if found out eventually who made that comment, should be made public. His identity should be made public. We'll be finding out from our guests whether that's one that he would support as well. As always, you're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Breeze.
Embattled former Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Scheme, Gifty Oware-Mensah, has arrived in Ghana. Her arrival ends weeks of speculation surrounding her whereabouts amid allegations connecting her to the NSS payroll scandal, which uncovered thousands of ghost names. The Speaker of Parliament has ordered an immediate investigation into the comment on the floor of the House. Majority Leader Mahama Yariga has supported the Privileges Committee to bring the perpetrator to book.
And Mr. Speaker, will join you to urge colleagues to be decorous in the way that we conduct ourselves in the chamber. I believe that the investigation that you have launched will definitely unravel the individual who engaged in such a reckless comment. And I also urge whoever it is to own up as directed by the Speaker.
The debate on President Mahama's State of the Nation address was disrupted on Tuesday after the minority protested the proportional allotment of opportunity in favor of the majority. Minority Leader Alexander Fenyo-Marking noted that the unfair treatment in number of contributors is problematic as it sets a bad precedent.
Mr. Speaker, they are trying to set a bad precedent, which bad precedent will bring chaos to this House, which bad precedent will crucify democracy. Mr. Speaker, we have human rights activists on the majority side. The lead human rights activist is the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, why are they trying to, as it were, go against the promises of our Constitution?
Organized Labour says government should implement 60 to 70% of the recommendations from the just-ended economic dialogue without delay. According to Labour, it will also monitor the recommendations to not increase taxes that could worsen the already precarious situation of the Ghanaian worker.
Government is able to implement the decisions that will be made today. If about 70 to 80%, I think he will be in the right way of resetting this very country. But if it falls below 50%, then we are in the same old story. You always pray and support the government in policies that can actually propel and promote labor rights.
President John Mahama has highlighted key amendments that will strengthen governance of the country. At a meeting with the Constitution Review Committee, the president says key to his success as president and reset of the country will be to have these amendments that will boost confidence in the Ghana's democratic dispensation.
There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. And as always, Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior, and Kale Charcoal Toothpaste. And that's more on 3news.com. Coming up next on Ghana Tonight, own up or we fish you out. That's the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagwin, to members of Parliament as the House initiates a probe to identify the Member of Parliament who used its unsavory comments against a colleague MP and daughter of the former president, the late Jerry John Rawlings. How should this matter play out? Well, that's a question that we're going to be putting to our guests who join us shortly. But this is a matter that a number of you are not new to. But just for the uninitiated, well, there was just about a month ago, almost a month ago, proceedings in Parliament was ongoing. Then there was a debate, and we heard a male MP's voice. I think that was quite emphatic, making that unsavory comment about the Speaker is going to repeat that, so we'll hear from him. But the Speaker of Parliament has ordered an immediate probe into that unsavory comment used against a Member of Parliament for the Korle-Klottey constituency, Dr. Zaneto Rawlings, on the floor of the House almost a month ago. The Speaker wants the MP in question to voluntarily show up or be fished out. This is what the Speaker said. Take a look.
In the course of the parliamentary proceedings on 4th February this year, an honourable member of this House was subjected to an unwarranted, unjustified, and deeply offensive, reckless remark, or being referred to as, for want of a better way to convey the remark, quote, the daughter of a murderer. I apologize for having to even repeat it. The unsavory remark was uttered off microphone from a seat of the minority side of the House in reference to the honourable member. I extend my deepest apologies to Honourable Dr. Zaneto Rawlings, Member of Parliament for Klottey-Korle, Her Excellency Nana Kunedu Rawlings, the former First Lady of Ghana and widow of our late illustrious President, the family, the chiefs, and all the good people of Anglo Duko and Anglo-land. No one serving their country should have to endure such indignity. Consequently, a formal investigation has been initiated to determine the identity of the member who made the comment. Subsequent to which, in line with standing orders 218 and 219, the Committee of Privileges and Immunities and Ethics and Standards shall be called upon to consider the referral and report to the House. In the spirit of honor, accountability, and decorum, I advise the member responsible for the remark to within a week choose the path of honesty, mea culpa, and opt for a plea bargain. Taking this step would demonstrate good faith and respect for parliamentary dignity, rather than awaiting the outcome of the ongoing investigation, which will ultimately uncover the member who made the statement.
So that's the period given to this said member of parliament who made that comment. 1 week. That's what the speaker is saying. Own up, show up, or you're going to be fished out. But the majority leader, Abu Mama Yarga, also lent his support to the speaker's statement, making references to what the Privileges Committee must do in this regard. Take a look.
Grateful to you. And Mr. Speaker, I will join you to urge colleagues to be decorous in the way that we conduct ourselves in the chamber. I believe that the investigation that you have launched will definitely unravel the individual who engaged in such a reckless comment. And I also urge whoever it is to own up as directed by the Speaker. And I want to assure this House that when we ultimately establish the identity of that person, the full weight of this side of the House will stand firmly behind the Privileges Committee when they seek to exact their.
Well, that's Mama Yaga there. Also, the majority, that's the majority leader there. We heard also from the minority chief, Frank Anodompre, also lent his support to the speaker in this particular investigation. Now, this was on the back of a group known as the Voter Diaspora Caucus, having gone on a protest earlier today against what they described as a verbal assault on the daughter of the former president, Dr. Zaneto Ajiman-Rawlings. Now, they presented a petition to Parliament asking that investigations be instituted to identify who made this comment. Who is that member of Parliament who made that particular comment? And these are the group of persons we're talking about, clad in red, chanting songs and making that demand of the Speaker of Parliament earlier today. Now, so let's take a listen to them very quickly.
We are here waiting patiently to hear from the people. Thank you.
Well, Professor David Abdullah is going to be joining us in a bit. He is a Senior Governance Advisor at the Africa Parliamentary Network. But let's look at what the standing orders of Parliament say with respect to some defamatory or unsavory comments made by a member of Parliament on the floor of Parliament against another member of Parliament. And it finds some legs in Order 131 of the Standing Orders of Parliament. I'm going to put it on the screen right now and follow me closely. Defamatory statements. One, where in the opinion of the Speaker, a statement made by a member is at first instance defamatory. The Speaker shall direct the member to withdraw the statement and render an apology. Well, that did not happen in this instance. And the Speaker shall refer the matter to the Committee of Privileges and Immunities for inquiry where the member fails to withdraw and apologize. Well, as it stands now, the Privileges Committee of this 9th Parliament has not been formed as yet. So this second option as well is not readily on the table. The next one is that the committee shall then report the findings to the House within 10 sitting days after the date of the referral, and the House shall consider the report. Then also, where the House decides that the statement made by the member is defamatory, the member who made the statement shall render an apology at the bar of the House within 2 sitting days after the decision of the House. And the terms of the apology shall be approved, I beg your pardon, by That's the Speaker, and by extension, the Committee of Privileges and Immunities, and communicated to the person who has been defamed. And also, where a member refuses to render an apology, the Speaker shall suspend that member for the duration of the session. That is after the Privileges Committee has done their own investigation. But you hear the Speaker of Parliament say that an investigation is ongoing already. The reason being, the Privileges Committee has not been established as yet. So then the Speaker has to institute an investigation into this. While the outcome of the investigation is yet to be known, the Speaker is now imploring on the Member of Parliament who knows himself, who made this statement, to come out and honorably, honesty, to be at play, admit that you said this. But, well, this is not the only provision under Order 131. He said, a suspended member shall lose total parliamentary privileges, immunities, and remunerations, which may be restored to the member if at any time before the end of the session the member renders that required apology. So it's a long list of steps that have to be taken. But because the Privileges Committee is not in place as yet, but we'll see what's happening right now. Professor David Abdullah, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us on Ghana Tonight. And you see these provisions I ran through under Order 131. And first off, hearing the Speaker now apologize as well to Dr. Zaneto Rawlings. I want to find out how all of that strikes you.
You know, Article 116 of the 1992 Constitution makes it in such a way that, you know, in Parliament you can have vigorous debates, you know, and what you say, you enjoy that immunity, you know, from any civil prosecution or criminal proceedings, you know, for the statements you make in Parliament. But the statement, the unsavory comments by the MP during the when Dr. Zaneto wanted to contribute, it is very, very unfortunate. And I think an apology is, is appropriate. Yeah.
I see, but how about that order to the Member of Parliament in question? You hear the Speaker say, own up and own this comment, that you said this. It's been over a month. This said MP has been quiet and not owned up to it. The Speaker is now imploring on this Member of Parliament to own up to the statement. How about that?
We have a saying in Africa that the mouth is worse than the foot when it slips. You know, when your mouth slips, whatever you say, you cannot bring it back. And I think that is why we expect that our parliamentarians or lawmakers should be careful with what they say, especially in the case that, you know, it is going to affect somebody negatively. I think it was uncalled for, and I think actually that MP should apologize to Dr. Zaneto. And once you do that, you must own up as a man or a woman who passes that statement. I mean, it is not right. Dr. Zaneto is not his father. So, I mean, he cannot be charged or whatever it is. If his father had committed some sins, that is his father. He is Dr. Zaneto, you know.
I see, and it's of no doubt that this person who made this statement is a man, because we had a male voice in that video from Parliament or on the floor of Parliament. So there are many who also hold the view that this investigation into this matter should have been instituted a long time ago. It's been almost a month that this incident happened. You sharing that thought as well?
Well, it's better than never. So I think you know, that so-called MP should have been man enough to come out and apologize. Because if you say some things, I mean, you cannot hide amongst the group and use that as a cover. You know, you should come out as a man. When you speak, make sure that you stand by your words. So actually, it is good that it's been happening now. And it should be a warning to other MPs into the future. When they speak, they should be careful what they say. Because once they say it, they cannot take it back. So I think it is important that, the MP comes out. But you see, Nana, you should understand that in Parliament, when you say such things, and it is such unsavory statements. Now, you could be hauled before the Privileges Committee of Parliament, and when that happens, and if you are found to be guilty, you could be reprimanded, you could be suspended for about 9 months. In most cases, if it's so damaging, you could actually be asked to leave Parliament. So I think we should all be circumspect in what we say. And as a leader, when you reach a certain point, your speech should be measured, even when you are angry.
Right.
And even when you don't like what other people say, you should be careful what you say, because that could come back and haunt you. And I think this is what is happening.
I see. But Prof, should the outcome of this investigation be known? That is, if this MP doesn't own up within 1 week. The Speaker says the MP himself should own up within a week and say, you know what, I made this comment and I'm sorry about it, even though I've been silent for almost a month after making this unsavory comment. But if he doesn't, and investigations indeed fish him out, should the person be made public? As in, the identity of the person be made public, so you and I, our viewers tonight, get to know and see who this MP is?
Well, I support that. But even when they apologize to Dr. Zanata, that is going to be something that is going to be in the public domain. It cannot be covered. I think, apart from just naming and shaming, if the person doesn't come out and the investigation takes place and the person is found out, the person should be hauled before the Privileges Committee, and whatever punishment that comes out of it should. That is the way I see. In whatever way it is, we should be careful with what we say, especially in the heat of the moment. Sometimes you say something that you shouldn't have said, and it is very, very expensive. Remember what I said. The mouth is worse than the foot when it slips.
That's true. And I asked this question because Parliament has this penchant of not making public the outcome of their own investigations. We saw what happened in the 8th Parliament. These allegations of a woman appearing in Parliament whom some suspect or allege that wasn't Sarah Joasafo, the former Dom Kwabena MP with the nose mask. Parliament said they instituted investigations into that. We don't know the outcome of that investigation. Also, we don't even know who ordered the military to storm Parliament. Parliament said they had instituted investigations into that. We didn't see the outcome or hear the outcome of that investigation. So there's that penchant that Parliament has, that they institute investigations into matters that happen on the floor of Parliament. They keep it to themselves. So should that continue?
Well, but it should change, because our laws should not be stagnant. It should be with the times. If you make such a statement outside somewhere and you are found out, you not only go to court, but you'll be sued. So I think it's high time that Parliament start making whatever, some of these statements people make that are unsavory. If the people are found out, they should make it public. What are you hiding from? If you are man enough to say those kind of things, you should be singled out. Let the person come and answer, apologize, and move on. You are grown-ups. But if it is done, it will serve as a deterrent to others, so that in future they don't say those kind of things, especially in the heat of the moment or in the midst of their group. In the midst of a group, people are always strong, but to stand alone, it's not that easy. At least if they punish them, then I think it will serve as a deterrent to other people. So to change their rules, I would suggest that, the new standing orders change in such a way that, whatever it is, if you are found out,
according to, Article 116 of the 1992 Constitution, they should be hauled before the Privileges Committee.
I appreciate your time on this. Professor David Abdullahi, a Senior Governance Advisor at the Africa Parliamentary Network. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And a number of you have been sharing your thoughts on this. There's a conversation going on TV3 Ghana on Facebook as well, so get involved. And we're asking questions as to whether the identity of this MP who made this statement should be made public. But that leads us to our next issue coming up next year on Ghana Tonight. Anti-corruption crusaders are hopeful that the arrival of the embattled former Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Authority, Gifty Oware Mensah, to Ghana will see the speedy progression of the National Service Scheme's ghost name scandal. But how will the National Intelligence Bureau deal with this matter? That's the fundamental question right now. And earlier today, we were at the airport, and we're going to show you videos right now because the embattled former Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Authority, Gifty Oware Mensah, is in town. She arrived earlier today through the Kotoka International Airport. We'll show that right now on the screen, and there you have it. Her arrival ends weeks of speculation surrounding her whereabouts amid allegations connecting her to the National Service payroll scandal, which uncovered over thousands of ghost names, a matter which has since been under investigation by the National Intelligence Bureau. So, Gifty Oware is in town, and that's what you see on the screen right now. And there's a bit more detail as to exactly where she's been, what she's been doing, and what's going to happen from today onwards, now that she's back in town. But let's do a quick backtrack. You'll hear the President, John Dramani Mahama, during the presentation of State of Nation address, gave an indication of what he has done in terms of instructing the investigation agencies to declare some persons wanted. Take a look.
Mr. Speaker, as part of our Operation Recover All the Loot policy, ORA, I've already tasked our investigative bodies to bring the culprits of the National Service ghost name scandal to justice. Such brazen theft of public funds must not go unpunished. It is estimated that the criminal addition of some more than 80,000 ghost names could have yielded the suspects over 50 million Ghana cedis every month. Unfortunately, some of these suspects are believed to have absconded from the country already. I have directed that they be declared wanted and their assets traced and frozen until investigations are completed.
Well, the President did not mention names of the persons that he has directed be declared wanted, but the conversation about Gifty Oware Mensah's absence in the country also heightened when the National Intelligence Bureau issued a notice of her invitation for questioning sometime over a week ago. Well, the Minority Leader, Alexander Panyomaking, earlier today at the airport also spoke to the press about her arrival and what's going to be happening in the coming days. Take a look.
The understanding basically is that we are a country of rule of law, and there should be no such Rambo-style approach to arrests and all. I'm aware that Gifty arrived this afternoon. I've been in touch with her. She's here in Ghana. She arrived this afternoon. Her lawyers are in touch with the National Investigation Bureau, and I'm sure that she's going to make herself available, and then whatever the state investigation authorities have, they would have to pursue within due process of law. I do not think that. Well, I would not rush in drawing certain conclusions. My view is that MPP is not against accountability, me inclusive. We've been in public service, we are out of office. Obviously, if the new government needs former officials to explain certain matters in one way or the other, it's within their right to pursue such. And if it means investigating, there should be no problem. What is important is to follow that due process. And once due process is being followed, why not? I mean, after all, once you get into public office, you must all be mindful that...
Did it take a lot of convincing to bring her back into the country?
No, the person was not running out. She was on holiday. You know, this era of social media, and even some people were saying that there is some whatever. I don't want to get it wrong. You know, this thing where they put travel embargo on her. There were all manner of rumors, but she came. All right, she came when she boarded. She told me, she came. She got to the airport. She went through the immigration processes, and then she's home now.
Was this?
No. Nobody harassed her, in all fairness. And that's what I'm saying, that sometimes the social media thing, people say all manner of things. But as far as I'm concerned, she hasn't been harassed by any state authority. No, she hasn't even been to the NIB office.
So she's on her own at the moment?
Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm having patience for you. So let's set the right tone. I'm saying that she did not run away from the jurisdiction. She had traveled out. She traveled out freely. She came back to Ghana. She's entered the country freely. However, the NIB officials reached out to me and that they needed her. They also reached out to her lawyers, and the lawyers have been in that discussions with them. Today, she's in town. She will make herself available. Whatever that they have to ask of her, I'm sure she'll be able to deal with it. And I'm saying that nobody has harassed her as far as I'm concerned, because I've been following, engaging her, and so far, nobody has harassed her. So let's forget about all these social media things and all that. I have told the officials that they can reach out to some of us. Sometimes this whole Rambo style thing, it doesn't help. If you want to invite somebody, you can invite the person. The person is a public official. There should be no problem. Person comes with his lawyer or decide that I don't need a lawyer. Come, answer questions. If the person has to be bailed, is bailed. If the state needs the person for further investigation, arrangement is made. I mean, I think that is what is required within the laws of Ghana.
So that's a Minority Leader Alexander Apenyomakin there, who was at the airport as well, speaking to my colleague Godwin Asedeba earlier today. Now, just a little over a week ago, the National Intelligence Bureau put out this notice of some persons who had been invited for questioning over a number of issues, the SkyTrain matter and this National Service Ghost Name scandal. One of such persons is Kweku Ohene Jan, a former Deputy Director of the authority as well, who was invited for questioning in connection with this payroll fraud matter. And then also Dr. Gifty Oware-Mensah, who at the time was out of the jurisdiction. You hear Alexander Apenyomakin say that she was on holidays. Now, there was that information of she being now pursued for alleged involvement in the payroll fraud and ghost name scandal. Well, she's arrived now. But here's how things played out. This is what the Fourth Estate investigations revealed. They had started that investigation sometime last year, from October thereabout. The first publication made in December last year after some court action to restrain them from doing so. So over 80,000 ghost names were identified on the National Service payroll. And this is according to the Fourth Estate how this was done. They assigned fake index numbers to universities, and then they would go through the process. So you see the one from University of Education, whenever fake index numbers assigned to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, fake index numbers to UCC, same to University of Development Studies, UPSA, Dambai College of Education, Valley View, Tamale Technical University. All of them had some fake index numbers assigned to them. That was not the only one. If you see the details that the Fourth Estate published, 80 and 90-year-olds were on the records as National Service personnel. 80-year-old, 93-year-old Nimatu Salifu was listed as a UDS graduate, posted to Piyagi DA Primary School. It turned out not to be true. 91-year-old Ruth Abdullahi, another ghost. 82-year-old Muhammadu Ali, another ghost. Now, you have some others as well, some fake IDs and manipulated biometric data that the Fourth Estate put out there. This was supposed to be a female National Service person, aged 34 years old, but the ID card that was attached to the female had a male picture on it. All right, and then you'll see that replicated in a number of them. Another service personnel who looks old in the picture at the top, but then the ID picture has a young person's picture on it. And then this is one that generated a lot of conversation. This picture that was said to be one Kwame Donko in the system of the National Service, according to the Fourth Estate investigation. And he was posted to, the name of the school sounds like some social media craze, Kasongo Basic School. Head office, Boko West District. You know this Kasongo thing has been going on. Well, guess what? They had a name for that school, Kasongo Basic School. This was Kwame Donko was posted to now. The Fourth Estate did a Google reverse image search, and they found out that this person, who's supposed to be named as Kwame Donko in the National Service database, is actually one Emmanuel Mutio, who is a Kenyan, sitting somewhere in Kenya as a human resource manager of I3 Technologies in Kenya. Well, so the fundamental question that many are asking is, what's the way forward? What's going to be done going forward after this? And that's where I bring in our guests for tonight. Richard Kumado is a former operative of the then Bureau of National Intelligence, that's BNI, and now the National Intelligence Bureau. And then also will be joined right now by Adam Senanu, who is co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Thank you, Alfred. Thank you, Senanu.
Ms. Senanu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. I'll start off with you, Mr. Kumado, on this. Now that Gifty Owari Mensah is in town, you hear Alexander Penyomakin talk about due process. What's going to be happening after today?
Okay, so one of the options available to the BNI, because investigation notice has been served, being it private or public, and Madam Gifty has come under investigation notice as a subject of investigation for now because she has not been charged yet. The BNI or the NIB has an option to arrest her at the point of entry. They did not do that, which is part of the due diligence process. The second option available is for Madam Gifty to voluntarily visit the BNI office and speak to the investigators assigned to the particular cases she has some questions to answer. To that extent, if she refuses to show up, then the BNI will arrest her. And what is going to happen is that whether she shows up or they arrest her, she's going to be asked some questions about some role she has played, being it an active role or a passive role, and some decisions she has taken in the course of a duty at the National Service Secretariat as a deputy, in unraveling the causes of the fraud we are talking about, and where guilt is perceived, then they will charge it. Remember that Attorney General said we will not put up somebody to the court without evidence. As part of that, the BNI will do the investigation and gather as much evidence as possible before she will be put to court. And the BNI is also mindful of the 48 hours when you want to detain somebody. And so they have all this within their remit, and they will put up a professional conduct and an action that shows that they know what they're about and they know what they are doing. So this is what is going to happen from tonight to tomorrow morning or the days after.
I mean, to the extent that they had already issued this notice of invitation to her for questioning, which is public. We all know it, and I just showed that notice. How is that going to play out, especially because of the knowledge of this by the public or in the public domain?
Definitely, it has taken a public public dimension because it's a public figure, and this has become a public issue, and there's public accountability. And to that extent, it will be changed. And I believe so much in the BNN officers, particularly those who will be assigned to investigate this case. And in it, as much as there will be some crashes between the NDC and the NPC, the BNN officers will maintain their composure and maintain a professional conduct that ensures that they investigate the cases, they ask the right questions, Madame Gifty produces herself or they get her arrested in the absence of that, and they will advise the Attorney General to that extent. When I was working in the BNI, what I love is that the BNI lawyers go to court. So they do their cases, they will put up the evidence, admissible evidence, of course, with high probable value. We go to court and we win many of these cases. To the extent that the president has spoken about it at the SONA, and the Attorney General is also interested in the case based on the work the oral team has done and the fourth estate, I think cautiousness and meticulousness and diligence and lack of discretion will be applied. But I have so much confidence in the BNI officers, and I know they will do a good job from tonight going forward, and they will make their findings known to the Attorney General for onward decisions taken by them.
I'll say, Mesano, this is why I bring you in here as well on this. I mean, for the anti-corruption crusaders like yourself who have been watching how this issue has been playing out, she's arrived in the country now, and that is then going to lead to the next phase of this investigation. What are you expecting in the coming days?
Well, first of all, I mean, I think it's...
If you can unmute for me,
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So, I mean, first and foremost, it's good that she's come back. That in itself would have kept a certain narrative going. But critically, I'm assuming that we're going to have to hold people accountable for the fact that you had a system in place that could not detect fake IDs. In this day and age, it's shocking for us that there was a system that was paying people that didn't have a reference directory to be able to say that this number that has been put in. You know, every institution, especially for tertiary institutions, would have a certain format of acronyms or letters and numbers that then suited the institution. That we could not detect that these were fake IDs, I mean, it's shocking, and somebody has to be held responsible for that. What's more is that, I mean, are they saying they didn't have a monitoring system? For me, that would be another question. Who was doing the due diligence, supervising, monitoring to cross-check that we're not getting large numbers of persons? At the moment, we're talking about thousands of fake IDs. How could that happen? You know, so responses on issues such as this are expected, and these are very serious issues. Apart from the overaged people who were in the system, and one can't understand how people outside the criteria, including persons using IDs that were not supposed to have been acceptable from 2022, and yet in the system. Very mind-boggling issues that have been raised by the Fourth Estate, and we'll be really interested in finding out how we got this kind of situation. and definitely people ought to be held culpable and accountable for this situation.
This is certainly not going to be a walk in the park, for investigators, because if there was wrongdoing, there certainly would have been attempts to cover their tracks, is it not?
Yes, that is what is worrying. I would like to know what the Office of the Special Prosecutor is doing, because I do know that the Fourth Estate first petitioned the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and so they had a head start, so to speak. What actions have been taken so far in this space? And when you talk about thousands, now that translates to a lot of money. The only attempt for explanation I've heard by previous directors has to do with saying, oh, we had other batches. But an explanation, even if we took it for granted that we were able to explain the 80,000 plus difference between numbers that were supposed to be eligible or submitted to Parliament, would not explain the thousands of fake IDs, which then assumes that these persons do not exist and yet they were being paid. That has not been explained in any of the things I've heard so far. And it's very frightening to think that this has been going on for years, and the institutions themselves didn't have a finger on the issues. We were not on top of what was going on, and the state has been deprived with so much resources. So these are very major issues to be answered, and certainly it's not a walk in the park. I'm hoping that the delay between when the Fourth Estate put it out there and whatever actions be taken will not, as it were, take away the evidence that is important to arriving at solid conclusions on this matter.
And certainly some prima facie evidence has to be established. I mean, that's where the law comes in, as to whether what has been found out by the Fourth Estate would pass for that is another hurdle that has to be crossed, is it not?
Well, yes, but so far I would say that the diversity, see, they didn't just come up and say the numbers don't add up. At the beginning of the year, you said that this number were eligible, and over, decades, usually by the time the deployment is actually done, deployment tends to be slightly less than the eligible number. But certainly we find from 2018 that after you give the figure of eligible, the actual deployed appears to have exceeded in 20,000s, 30,000s. Now, that is unusual. And then the issue of the fake IDs, the issue of IDs that are not acceptable, the issue of, so many issues. I doubt that we're going to have a situation where some of these issues that have been raised by the Fourth Estate are not found to be factual issues for which people should be held accountable.
So I appreciate you for this. Thank you so much for joining us. Also to you as well, Mr. Richard Commodore, thank you. Thank you so much for making the time to join us. We'll see how the coming days will look like on this. Richard Commodore is a security analyst, and also Adam Senano, the co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. We're back shortly after this quick break. Stay with us. The National Economic Dialogue is up next.
Mommy. Michelle say, fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Choco toothpaste, healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Choco toothpaste, Sankofa.
Yenchi, Kel Choco toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, One bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
Buckle up, here we go.
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
Time to boost some office morale.
Incredible!
If you want to build a future, you gotta know what you want.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Deep in the heart of the enchanting Abri Valleys lies a hidden gem in Ghana's real estate landscape. Welcome to W Life Estate, a tranquil sanctuary perfectly nestled within the breathtaking Abri enclave. Just 36 kilometers from the Kotoka International Airport and accessible via tarred roads through Abri or Nsawam, this enchanting estate is a tranquil retreat from the hustle and bustle of city life. Envision your dream cottage nestled within a 75-member planned gated community where every detail has been carefully crafted to provide a haven of peace and security. Enjoy the convenience of water, electricity and inner roads and manned security for your peace of mind. Prices start from just 99,000 Ghana cedis, making it an unbeatable investment opportunity. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call Judith on 020-526-7791 today to make W Life Estate your home. W Life Estate, where serenity meets luxury. Invest in your peace of mind.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calcate's Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Calcates. Happy smile.
And welcome back to Ghana Tonight. Now, coming up next, the National Economic Dialogue has come to an end today with proposals and interventions to enable Ghana revive and revitalize its economy. We've got some highlights for you. First off, let's hear from the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Esiama, making that point about the non-performing loans, which is getting worrying. Take a look.
Each time we send those reports to Parliament, we are happy to engage in a town hall with the private sector.
Wow.
We will be there, all of us will be there, members of the Monetary Policy Committee, we will be there, and we are happy to take questions from the private sector.
Okay.
But in doing all this, let me emphasize again the need to coordinate affairs with the fiscal authorities.
Correct.
One thing that came, and I believe our rapporteur mentioned it, is that currently, yes, T-bill rates are coming down, and it is good to see that. However, there is an emerging risk that if we are not careful, we will see pressure on the cedi going up as a result. And so again, if you look at our Bank of Ghana bills, you would see that the rate, has had to go up. That's the way managing the macroeconomy works, and therefore there has to be a balance. So again, that underscores why we need that kind of coordination with the fiscal authorities, and we'll be doing that. I'll be speaking with the Minister of Finance regularly, and we will try to achieve that balance going forward. We'll be transparent. But let me end with just one more point. on the area of financial sector stability. We have the financial sector strengthening strategy, going on under the fund program, and we are going to continue with that. However, an elephant in the room has to do with the high levels of NPLs, what we call non-performing loans. To give you the seriousness of that, we have local banks and we have foreign banks. There's a local bank whose NPL is about 81%. What it means is that every 100 Ghana cedis they lend, they are not able to collect 81 cedis back. Another local bank has about 62%. Now, the highest for the foreign banks is about 21%, I guess. So these numbers tell you that we need to address the NPL issue.
That's the governor of the central bank there. Quite worrying as you see it now. Let's go on to Zoom now. John Ewa is the president of the Ghana Association of Banks, joining us right now, because you hear the governor talk about in some local banks having non-performing loans as high as over 80%. So what is contributing to this increasing NPLs as we are seeing now?
Thank you very much, Alfred. It's a multiplicity of factors. The first one I would put on the current economic environment that is making it very difficult for businesses to meet their commitments. With lending rates upwards of 30%, obviously to put a lot of strain on businesses' ability and commitments. So it has a lot to do with the current economic setting. It also has a lot to do with the bank's ability to recover when there is evidence or objective evidence of distress. We don't have the right institutional structures that enable the banks to go through the court systems using the documents that we have to recover or realize whatever the secondary source of payment is, so we can lend to the next customer. So it's basically a multiplicity of problems. If you go to Lands Commission, there is also the problem of land documentation and collateral. A bank may be holding all the documents that by law they are supposed to have. You get to the point you have to enter execution and you realize that property you are holding as collateral has either long been sold or is in the name of another person. So it's more or less a plethora or a basket of issues that the banking system is grappling with.
I see, and maybe in your view, what can be done to address this? Because the governor talked about the impact of the DDEP as well. And that's where the concern is for the many who are looking at how things are playing out. So if the DDEP is still an issue for the financial sector, how are you navigating around this?
Obviously, the economy is recovering, but are we where, as a country, we were before the advent of DDEP or even COVID and DDEP? If you ask the business community, they will tell you we've made a lot of progress, but we are not near where we were before. So whilst I would not put it down to the impact of the DDEP, because to be honest, frankly, businesses that have working capital needs do not have even the excess liquidity to have invested in government bonds and therefore would have been impacted, for which reason they would have defaulted in their loan payments. So on a direct impact on the business community, I doubt very much. There may be incidents of a certain percentage of it. A few businesses that perhaps may have had excess cash flow and would have invested in government instruments who may have planned to use that as the payment source for their loans and may have suffered because of the DDEP. But that will not be in anywhere close to a majority. It's a very smaller population of the default we are talking about.
And that's an important problem in there as well. And this is one that we're going to spend some time on, especially to understand what's going on. But still on the governor of the central bank, this is the notice we got from Parliament. It's going to be on your screen right now. And we'll hear from Mahama Yariga in a bit. The Parliament as a house has programmed the governor of the central bank to appear before the committee of the whole and apprise Parliament on the cost of the construction of the new Bank of Ghana headquarters at Ridge in Accra. And this is an issue that the meeting of the Committee of the Whole is scheduled tomorrow, Wednesday, 5th March 2025, at 12 noon in the Chamber of Parliament. So this is one that we'll keep an eye on closely. And we will be live in Parliament as well. This is something that we've been talking about over the last couple of days as to the governor going to give a full account of this. Mark Mayariga, the majority leader, also spoke about this in Parliament earlier today.
Meeting that next week, Wednesday, we will invite the governor of the Bank of Ghana as an independent constitutional body to come to this house and brief us on the pricing of the new Bank of Ghana head office building, how the price variations took place, what the quantities were, and the justification for the construction of the.
That's Mama Yariga, who has been following this matter right from over the last almost 2 years now, and now his majority leader. Tomorrow, that's Wednesday, the governor of the central bank, Dr. Siama, will be in Parliament. By noon, we will be in Parliament as well, so stay with us here on TV3 as we bring you some more details on how things are going to play out. There's more news on 3news.com. On behalf of the rest of the team, thank you so much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. Also, it's brought to you by Flamingo Paint and Kel Charcoal. And my name is Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.